I want to take us through the front pages of our local dailies. And I'm going to start with the Standard. Ruto reality check. President William Ruto's hold on Mount Kenya is weakening. His climb up the mountain is getting slippery. His latest tour, where only 2 governors out of 11 joined him to launch projects, is a pointer to a switch in allegiance. Once drawing massive organic crowds, it now depends on allies to mobilize supporters and influence projects. Many local leaders fear backlash over unpopular policies and his fallout with former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Analysts warn with 2027 approaching, Mount Kenya politicians are recalculating support, leaving Ruto's once solid base increasingly fragile. That story is told in detail on page 5 of the Standard newspaper. Moving on to the Daily Nation. State's 39 billion shillings legal fees scam. A court order barring public agencies from hiring private law firms has revived the debate on huge legal fees the government incurs despite employing state lawyers. That story is told on page 4 and 5 of the Daily Nation. LSK president backs advocates' fees as lawyers head to the polls next month. Held funding strain as more learners qualify for varsity dilemma. Now, following the release of 2025 Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education exam results, the number of students eligible for university admission has risen to over 270,000, up from 246,000 who qualified in 2024. The Higher Education Loans Board estimate about 90% of these students will apply for loans, putting more pressure on a tight budget, even as the agency targets to recover 6 billion this year. Read that story on page 7 of the Daily Nation. Ruto's plan to regain support in Mount Kenya. Buoyed by the outcome of November 27 by-elections, President Ruto has stepped up his political incursion in Mount Kenya. After months of keeping off, the ruling party recently held grassroots elections in the region, with the president currently inspecting projects. That story is told on page 10 of the Daily Nation. On matters economy, 204 billion from sale of Safaricom shares to fund capital projects. Treasury plans to spend money raised from the partial sale of government shares in Safaricom exclusively on infrastructure project. That story is told on page 8 of the Daily Nation. And finally, on the front page of the Star newspaper, ODM secret card as party starts 2027 election pact talks with Ruto. That story is told on page 6 of the Star. Raila party agrees to open coalition deal with Kalonzo. President milks World Bank's 5 billion quote-unquote hustlers pass to charm youth and women. That story is told on page 4 and 5 of the Star newspaper. MPs challenge Badi on Safaricom sale, seek assurance on job losses. That story is told on page 2 of the Star newspaper. Iranian crisis poses little impact on Kenyan tea farmers. That story is told on page 11 of the Star newspaper. Basically, that is what is captured on the front page of our local dailies, and you can get one and read more on the stories that are being reported there. Now, getting back into our day's conversation, we are looking at party politics and pre-election pacts, given that in 2022, Kenya Kwanza won the elections, and also in 2002 NARC coalition did take, and in 2013 there was the Jubilee coalition. That will form the basis of our conversation, but we are coming back to that in just a short while. Stay with us.